The Woodlands Health and Rehab Center is the right choice for rehab at home. Our therapy department, with the assistance of our experienced clinical team, will transition you home quickly and safely. The Woodlands Health and Rehab Center, living made better.
Mr. Douglas, do you have a report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. First of all, a few upcoming meetings. Tuesday, April 17th, I invite you to attend the Vision 2025 update hosted by the Allegheny Foundation at the Masonic Theater. Something we participated over the last few years. Then Tuesday, May 8th, from 12 to 6, here at City Hall, we will have a joint open house on the Covington and Allegheny County comprehensive plans. We've been working as a joint committee on planning documents for both the city and county, and I've been very happy with that process, and we're at a point where we want to share information, the land use plans, and so forth. So that will be the afternoon prior to the regular May council meeting. And then Tuesday, May 15th at 6 o'clock, or as you determine, we have a budget work session scheduled. And I'm sure others along the way. And then tentatively on the 22nd of May, at 6 o'clock, a budget public hearing. Any questions on meetings or events? A few updates on projects. I'll try to be quick here. First of all, I think many of you all saw on the Roanoke News, the police department continues its neighborhood canvass, completing neighborhoods along and near South Carpenter Drive at this point. I think it's been generally well received, and it's provided valuable feedback to both the police department and other city departments. Also, the police department continues working towards the state accreditation process. We're committed to getting that done this time with the goal of a self-assessment in September of this year. I also want to note that the City of Lexington continues to be very helpful in providing support and documentation to assist us with the process. Next, I want to note that the Treasurer's Office is now participating in a program called DMV Stop. It's where DMV flags delinquent local vehicle tags and requires payment before a customer can renew or purchase tags at DMV. So it's an opportunity for us to collect, I think, a significant amount of delinquent personal property tax revenue. Also related to the Treasurer's Office, we've completed the process for the acquisition of 328 West Main Street. That was done through the tax sale. That's now under city ownership. So I encourage the council to think about how we may want to use or potentially dispose of that property in the future. Next, staff met with TAP about a program called the Workforce Housing Program. I think the presentation was made a year or so ago. They referred to it as land banking. I think it's a real good opportunity for us to work on developing some of our tax foreclosed, vacant, and abandoned lots. And we're prepared to move forward with that. It would involve a resolution for consideration within the next 2 or 3 months. Next, we're also working, this has been a topic for quite some time, and we're moving forward with the city attorney and CHA to consider possible development options at the Jackson River Sports Complex related to camping. And we're also working to develop central business zoning district regulations for the downtown area to be presented shortly to the Planning Commission. Next, I also want to recognize the Development Services staff for finalizing bylaws for both the Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals. Those have been, we've not had bylaws for either organization, and also they've held an organizational meeting with the BZA, which I think has been dormant for quite some time. We're also working to address what we call the community gardens, lack of a better word, located between Royal Avenue and Jackson River, essentially completing a general property cleanup and developing formal agreements with the current or remaining users of the property. We'd like to, in the future, consider maybe marketing that and for full use. As you may know, that's been used for quite some time, but there's no formal arrangements, and there's been individuals that use that land with really no agreements with the city for a number of years, and we just really want to formalize that process and make it available to all residents. Next, as I mentioned last month about some of the wastewater line issues along behind Maple Avenue, serving the Covington movie theater and some of the adjacent buildings. We're finalizing plans with CHA to address that and be able to replace that line to serve those businesses. That should be taking place within the next month or so, I hope. Next, we have AECOM under contract to complete the Drain Zone project. That's, as I mentioned before, that's to include engineering, business plan development, and marketing plan development for the Edgemont building and then related field and mine sites. The mayor and I participated in a kickoff meeting with AECOM and the EDC staff on April 4th. We're excited to move that project along. And then related to that, we just found out today that Go Virginia has awarded $76,000 for drone-related technology and training through the community college that will assist the drone zone. Next, a couple budget-related items. We, as a result of looking at the high cost of our current insurance programs, we're working with an insurance consultant, and we've also formed a committee representation of employees from all city departments to develop and review options and hope, with the goal of hoping to reduce costs associated with our health insurance and trying to find a plan of plans that meet the needs of most of our employees. Also, I want to point out, I will be presenting the budget at the May work session, but one thing we're working on in addition to the traditional part of the budget is preparing a fee schedule. I think I mentioned this in the past. This is basically in the one document. We'll have all fees, user fees, fines, and so forth in one place where that can be reviewed and changed every year. So for instance, we have, say, violations for various things in our city code that right now may reflect, say, a $5 charge. And it's just, the code's never been amended because it's a process of amending the code. We want to pull all those fees and fines out of the code. And in addition, we have certain things we charge administratively for, say for Parks and Recreation. We want to list all those in one document, so then you have the chance at budget time to review and amend as necessary over time. It's a much easier process than going through and amending the code as you go along. Also, two more things. One to point out that in the process of development of the budget, we've identified a need to replace a large portion of the roof of the water plant, approximate cost of $250,000. We're asking, if council doesn't object, that we're going to go ahead and move forward with preparing an RFP for this project. And if we move it forward quickly enough, I may come back to you probably at the June meeting and ask for appropriation of reserve funds for that so we can get that project done because we do have significant fund balance to be able to accommodate that, and it's a critical need, something that hasn't been addressed. It was a portion of the roof that was replaced about 5 years ago, but the remainder of the roof was not addressed at the time, and there's issues with leaking and so forth, and if we don't address it, there's going to be continued structural issues with the buildings. And then finally, due to response-related concerns and the continued decline in the number of EMS volunteers, beginning at 10 p.m. tonight, the city will utilize paid EMS staff to respond to all EMS calls 24 hours each day until determined by council on how to provide these services in the future. Staff requests the council consider a special meeting on Friday, April 13th to discuss. That concludes my report.
Thank you.
I got some questions, if I can, just.
Yes.
Under the ARC for the Edgemont building, do we have any estimates on what it's going to be, or is this included in the plan for cosmetic improvements to that building? Outside cosmetic improvements?
No, that's the purpose of this.
Okay. I didn't know if that fell into the ARC grant or not.
Well, what they're doing is a feasibility study on the engineering cost.
Okay.
We should have a pretty solid idea of what it will cost to develop the properties.
And water plant roof, once we do this, that'll take care of the whole thing?
For the roof.
Everything will be good on the roof?
And I would say for the majority of the facility, there's some mixers, some older equipment that we plan to bring as part of the budget for next year that have a little age, but they're functional. But beyond that, I mean, there's the traditional, I mean, just the regular pumps and so forth.
But as far as the roof goes, this will take care of the whole roof? Okay.
So we'll be in very good shape moving forward, I think, after.
We've already
this
replaced
project.
a good bit of stuff up there, parts and equipment and things like that.
There's a few
so
more things we discussed that'll be
We should be
coming
in
to you
pretty
in
good
the
shape at
budget.
that point.
But beyond the roof and then these things that are proposed in the upcoming budget, beyond these mixtures in 1920, the plant will be in good shape. Now, one thing that's uncertain, that we may have to spend some time and dollars on water tanks. And we've been working with this, that's been delayed for various reasons, but we're pushing CHA to move forward with that this summer, so we have an idea of what our needs are related to water tanks.
Okay.
But the plant itself, knock on wood, is in very good shape.
Cool.
I have a question. On the last year, of course, we made a change in the unused days and had them carry over, and that was supposedly for a year. And then, but we have to address it this year in order to change it back. Are we going to do that, or what?
Well, that went along with the calendar year, not the fiscal year, so we have time. I mean, that basically was in effect to the end of the calendar year 2018. So that's something BB and I have to work on. We've been, as you might expect, knee deep in the budget.
Right. But
more
we
than knee deep.
can wait till after July 1.
Yes, because that's a calendar year item. As far as the crew and rollover of holidays, that's on a calendar year basis.
Okay.
Richard, I think that Go Virginia is broken up into 10 regions, and we're in Region 2. And this award was the only money awarded in Region 2? Is that right?
I am not sure. I know there were very few awards.
I think this is the only thing that was awarded in Region 2, which covers, my gosh, from
No, it's a big one.
down close to Bristol up to Lynchburg and everything up to the West Virginia line. Cool. If that's what I remember. And one other thing I wanted to just make note of, on the last item with EMS, the rescue squad has scheduled a meeting. Is it Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday. The rescue squad has scheduled a meeting tomorrow night, and they're going to look at some options that they might come up with to help us address that last item. I want to make sure we included that in at the end.
Mayor, I can tell you real quick, Region 2, there were 3 projects funded in Region 2.
Whether this was the only one I saw, maybe I was just focused on money coming here.
Bedford and Campbell counties, and then Roanoke and Salem and Montgomery.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions, Council?
Meeting on Friday.
Friday, yeah.
What time and when?
Mr. Douglas, with 12:30 suit for Friday?
That's pure call. That would be fine with me.
I think all council's okay with 12:30 Friday?
And I think the intent was the recess until...
And then at the end of the meeting tonight, we'll recess until Friday at 12:30. Ordinances and resolutions. The first one is to consider resolution 1814 regarding police department grant for a bulletproof vest in the amount of $2,970.94.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Ms. Wood, could we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Byrne? 4. Mr. Hunter?
4.
Mr. Tucker?
4.
Vice Mayor Crozier?
4.
Mayor Salvo?
4.